the son of President Museveni, the head of the Ugandan army. This is the son of President Museveni. Not torturing or having Eddie Mutwe tortured privately, and a leaked video or photo comes out and then he disassociates himself from it. No, proudly in the open under this NRM, that NRA that was supposed to be a disciplined army that ended the dark days of State Research Bureau, NASA, UNLA, the roadblocks and all that. It is abnormal to see a person very comfortably relaxed, enjoying to updating the public about torture going on in my basement. You think that's normal?
No, it's not.
You think Moses is normal? Just like I said, what do you expect me to answer? I mean, just...
It says, you think Muhoozi is normal?
And I'm sure privately, he has thought, what are other army officers thinking?
We really have to be very careful. Let's not play with fate.
Let's not play with fate. What fate is he referring to?
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Live Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
I cannot appreciate you enough for using your valuable time to always go on social media, break down things for people.
Our wide selection of Toyota certified used vehicles comes with surprises, but only the good kind. What about a warranty?
Ready? Indeed. I hope you're having a wonderful time, ladies and gentlemen. I am the aforementioned Mordecai Marissa, and here we go. I guess you are ready. I guess you are. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, veteran journalist, commentator, and photographer Timothy Kalyejira mysteriously disappeared for 4 days, leaving friends and followers wondering whether he had become the latest victim of the Museveni criminal regime to vanish without trace. When he finally resurfaced, the mystery took another dramatic turn. He had been in the hands of security operatives before being hauled before court. Imagine that. They just abduct you and then they don't say a word for days, only for you to be dumped somewhere or be arraigned before courts of law. For what charges, they don't tell you, as long as they torture you fast. And now, you might guess, what was the official charge? Operating the Uganda records without a broadcasting license from the Uganda's Communications Commission, famously known as UCC. He was promptly remanded to Ruzila prison until July 16th. But really, to many Ugandans, that explanation didn't convince them. For quite some time, Timothy Kalyejira has relentlessly criticized the Nepo baby and commander of Uganda's Defense Forces, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, publishing these blistering commentaries that challenge the first son's conduct, his political ambitions, and his quote-unquote influence. It's a manufactured influence. That's why I'm putting it in air quotes. Now, to many of us, we're wondering, the timing is a little suspicious. At this moment when we see the abduction of the likes of former mayor of Kampala, Elias Lukwago, and that's why they're asking, are these really charges of broadcasting real? Do they even carry any substance? Absolutely not. So the biggest question now is, why was he arrested? Well, we don't know. I don't want even to use the term arrested because it wasn't an official arrest. It was an abduction. I think I saw Bobby Wine actually announce when he finally resurfaced. This is what he said. If you want to read that with me, ladies and gentlemen, he said It turns out that journalist and media personality Tim Kalyegira, who has been missing, was actually abducted, held incommunicado, and is now being arraigned for charging simply because he's been outspoken about Museveni and his son's crimes. We got to this point because everyone thought that someone else would fix it. Hopefully everyone realizes the collective danger and the collective duty. Only then shall we be free. I mean, no one detected right there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do here is I give you some of explosive commentaries that were coming from Timothy Kalyegira. And I pretty much believe these put him in a spotlight, and Muhoozi had him on a radar. Look, dictators and thugs and tyrants, these are fascists and despots, usually look at voices of reason and they go after them. They either buy them to join them, but they buy them off. I mean, they buy your intelligence, a thing that makes you unique, that, makes you their target. They want to diminish it by buying you. They give you money. Look at what they did to the likes of Andrew Mwenda, the likes of Alan Kasuja. The list is endless. So, and if they fail, or if they detect that you might not accept money, what they do, they resort to intimidation. If they cannot intimidate you, then they take it to another level, coercion and utter domination. Either kill you, maim you, torture you, disappear you, name it, abduct you, and keep you in prison for years. Now, Timothy Kalyegira is one of the voices of reason. I'm going to go on and play you here when he was really speechless. He was being questioned about what his comments regarding the abduction of Bobby Wine's bodyguard, Eddie Mutwe, and his torture at the orders of none other than Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who gloated in those actions. Listen to the cogent, the cohesive, and the coherent Timothy Kalyegira.
The torture of Robert Chagulanyi's bodyguard, Eddie Mutwe, Eddie Sebufo, the CDF posting his picture without a beard, him appearing to be battered and broken, he's brought in court. Give me your thoughts through that. That torture, and the CDF comes out to say, we are just getting started.
We're teaching him
Runyankore in a basement.
I mean, and I'm sorry to pause here. That's sociopath on steroids.
As I said, if you're a normal person, psychologically, you're a reasonable person. If you know Uganda's history, if you know what the NRM says they went to the bush in 1981 to fight, if you know all this about Uganda, what would you expect me to answer you? The son of President Museveni, the head of the Ugandan army, under this NRM, that NRA that was supposed to be a disciplined army that ended the dark days of State Research Bureau, NASA, UNLA, the roadblocks and all that. This is the son of President Museveni, not torturing or having Eddie Mutwe tortured privately, and a leaked video or photo comes out and then he disassociates himself from it. No, proudly in the open, proudly doing what people do, during workshops and these, fashion events and sports events, people tend to do these live updates, tweeting. So-and-so has said ABC. And the speaker says Uganda needs to grow more coffee and all that. That's what you normally do with what you call social media updates. It is abnormal to see a person very comfortably relaxed, enjoying to updating the public about torture going on in my basement. Not in Kireka, facilities, not somewhere at the SFC or CMI facilities, in my basement. So that's either in his office or in his home. And that he's proudly letting us know and enjoying the details. In fact, now he's just gone to make me tea. In fact, now I'm told this morning he woke up and I don't know, he's now urinating endlessly.
You ever heard of the Midnight Channel?
This morning he woke up and I don't know, He's now urinating endlessly. Can you imagine?
I mean, I want to look at his face, ladies and gentlemen. Look at his face. I'm going to have to go back here. I want to show you his face. Look at his face right there. That's the face of confusion. The face of someone baffled. The face who cannot put into words of how they feel. Is he confused? Is he disturbed? Is he sad? Is he angry? I mean, it is a combination of everything I mentioned and more. There should be a manufacturing or a creation of a new emotion in this situation. Who does that? Who does that? You know, even when we were kids, we had no much knowledge about empathy or sympathy or kindness. But even when you fought with your friend and probably end up bruising them or leaving them with a very bad injury or wound, you would end up, feeling sort of guilt and empathy. You would try to do something to bridge the gap between you folks. You would try to say sorry without even saying sorry. You'd want to use actions. If that's what our intelligence told us when we were kids, where is Moses? That you abduct people, take them in your quote-unquote basement, which is your torture dungeon, pluck out their fingers, electrocute them, torture them by using, they used with Kakwenza, they used, what are those stuff, where they would pull off his skin, and post the same on social media. The level of sociopathy and psychopathy is unfathomable. That's why he was being confused here.
You think that's normal?
No, it's not.
You think Moses is normal? Just like I said, what do you expect me to answer? I mean, just...
It says, you think Moses is normal? What do you want me to answer? Listen here.
You think that's normal?
No.
You think Moses is normal?
Nope.
Just like I said, what do you expect me to answer? I mean, just ask anybody, do a sample anywhere. Start even from within the president's own family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're telling the world. Just think what the first lady is thinking about Mohozi or Natasha or Patience or Diana, whoever. That's our brother. We, the family that presents itself as, a Christian military family, Christian soldiers who fought the good fight. We were God's blessing to Uganda to take the...
Now, yeah, I want to disagree with him there. Look, that's a facade they want to wear. They know about the lawlessness and the criminality of Museveni. Museveni has this extremely violent rhetoric. We shall crush you. I'm the master of violence. I saw how Bobby Wine was treated. They beat him up really, really well. This is what he says on campaign trails. This is what he says on press conferences. This is what he says. He's a violent man. They use religion as a weapon. They do not care. So I hope we do not separate Natasha, Patience Rwabogo, Janet Katara Museveni. We don't divorce them from the actions that are being endorsed and sanctioned by Museveni. They know. Like I've seen folks in Uganda, some of them trying to be like, as Moses is doing all this, where is his dad? Hello? His dad is behind the actions of his son. Because Muhoozi didn't learn this out of the blue. He took the intentions of Museveni to their logical conclusions. If Museveni is going to buy off people by giving them $5 million each or 5 million shillings, then Muhoozi Kainerugaba says, okay, what else can I use to have the influence? I can actually intimidate them. What are some of the ways I can intimidate people? I'm going to abduct them, torture them, and do whatever I want. Museveni refers to himself as a modern day king. Muhoozi believes that he's a descendant of Jesus Christ. He's a Muchwezi and stuff that he says. So there's no difference between Museveni. Those are, Natasha, and they are the charlatans. I mean, Natasha is married to Edwin Karugire. Edwin Karugire is member of the Patriotic League of Uganda, headed by Muhoozi Kainerugaba. So you want to tell me that, Natasha doesn't know a group where her husband is member? Come on, let's not kid ourselves.
Dark days behind us. That's what they present, a prayerful Christian military family.
Prayerful,
and that's what your son
my bad. Prayerful, they are not.
is tweeting proudly, openly, not, as I said, there's no attempt to say you're misquoting me. Why do you say torture? That wasn't torture. We just have him under detention. But no, he's happy to let you know. And those who say, sometimes when he tweets, those are just his bad jokes. He then goes online and says, you people who say I'm not serious about what I tweet, who make it seem like I mean what I say. Please don't misquote me. Those tweets are me. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I tweet what I'm thinking. What else can anybody say? Mm-hmm. That's where Uganda's going to.
What do you think goes through the president's mind when he sees these things?
Uh-huh.
The first thing
being
is
a disciplinarian with his history of the NRA and discipline within the army.
Well, I don't know if the NRM itself was as disciplined as they claim, but that's a whole other
there were just a few people, not the entire thing.
Story. If you go through the newspapers from 86, almost from day one after taking power, they began armed robberies and all these things, not to mention these attacks on Bank of Uganda, Kabale, UCB, Kabale, Fort Portal, Kilembe to take money, when Uganda had been cut off after the 85 coup. But that aside, what's going through his mind? First, just the embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when in 2022, when he had to apologize to the Kenyans, at Citizen TV, we apologize. He's a patriot, he's a Pan-Africanist. But
no. He's not a patriot, he's not a Pan-African, he's the charlatan. Museveni is a charlatan. But look, even when Museveni apologized to Kenya, he didn't mean a thing. There's no embarrassment. Look, an embarrassment occurs to someone who has an emotion called shame. Museveni doesn't have it. Because when he apologized, quote unquote, apologized to Kenya, the following few days he promoted Muhoozi from Lieutenant General to now a 4-star general. After placing our country in a diplomatic crisis, he was promoted. So all these, I apologize, is just for sure.
Yes, I'm wrong about that. You think that was his pleasure to apologize on behalf of his son? Of course, that humiliates him. Then, being the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, just a statement or two on CBS FM by Brigadier Henry Tumukunde, and for 8 years he was under some kind of like house arrest. 1 or 2 statements by 1 or 2 people, and that's the end. And imagine what Museveni must be feeling. Imagine if that wasn't his son. Imagine if that was just some other army general, chief of defense forces, saying those things.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't care, because if he really cared, they've always presented Museveni as, tough guy. Sabalwan is a tough guy, Museveni. Okay, let's see that toughness when it comes to disciplining his own son.
Hey, Spectrum Internet customers. Want to save $1,000? Switch 2 mobile service lines to Spectrum.
His own son. Or firing him. Why don't we see that? So he's okay with what Muhoozi is doing.